Let's go back to Romans chapter 1, if you don't mind. Romans chapter 1. Paul, a servant of Christ. Now, he says, I'm a servant. Doulos is the Greek word for servant. The New International Version is wrong, and many other versions are wrong. Servant is not the exact terminology for this particular verse. He says, I'm a slave. That's the right terminology. I'm a slave. But he says, I'm a slave for my master. He's come to the point in his life, friends, and this is where you and I need to come to that position as we move on into this year. As I say to you, growth matters. Spiritual growth matters. We can have other things that matter in the sense of growth, but for this particular time, spiritual growth matters. And if you want to grow spiritually, you need to know who's your master. And Paul is telling us as he starts this letter, that's why I said to you, I can talk about this letter, just this verse alone, for the next 2 more Sundays. He says, my master is Jesus Christ. Paul could not avoid describing himself as a servant, as a slave, which means he's a slave to Jesus Christ. Can I ask you this morning? Are you a slave to Jesus Christ? Are we slaves? Am I a slave to him? I'm the first one to say no. Not always. And I want to be. As I've asked you this morning, we are going to grow spiritually in Christ this year. Even if I've got 5 people in this church, this letter is going to make a difference for you and for me.